we're going to bring you the expert advice from a variety of authors, consultants, and thought leaders who will provide the tools you need to maximize your own personal and professional margin. Welcome to the Massimo Show. Joe, welcome to the Massimo Show.
Thank you very much.
Well, Joe, I got to get right into it. Professional hockey. So usually we ask our guests, what were they doing when they were in high school and their passions? I'm assuming hockey was pretty much your life in high school. Is that correct?
That's correct. I left my parents' home to go play juniors when I was 15. Got drafted in the AHL when I was 17, turning 18, and moved to the States when I was 20.
20-year-old in the States playing what you love. And no doubt people think, oh, what a life. But I'm sure it was grueling. So how did this idea of playing hockey, while you were playing hockey, was there an interest also in business? Where did that come about?
So, yeah, my first bonus when I signed my first contract, my 3-year deal, it came with a signature bonus, which I invested in a 32 apartment back home in Montreal.
How old were you when you did this?
I was 19 years old. Yeah.
So now I understand a lot of 19-year-olds don't get bonuses, but even if they did, it would be, I'm going to buy this car, I'm going to take out this girl, and go on these vacations. But you decide to invest. Where did that even come from, the idea of investing in an apartment building?
I guess in my family, they were not big investors, but my father was a big believer in brick and mortar and not stock. If you could see it, it was real for him. And passive income was something that when I retired and if I wanted to enjoy life, that they needed to be there. So that was the safest investment for us because the bank was leveraged, was a lot higher with the bank and multifamily. So that's why we went that way. I'll always remember my dad said to me, you have 32 person going to work to pay your mortgage. And I was like, that stuck to me.
Wow. Owning an apartment building and taking the perspective, you got 32 families every day going to work to pay your own mortgage. Wow. You know, I got to tell you, I've been doing this real estate game for cheese and crackers 30 plus years easily. I never thought it in those terms. What an amazing perspective. Okay, so you're wired differently, professional hockey player, also investing. So give the audience a little flavor of your professional career, because everyone thinks, oh, what's that like? Joe, what's it like being a professional hockey player?
I got to tell you that it's very similar than being a broker in some sense, because, you know, you're as good as your last game or your last deal in brokerage, right? And there's a lot of people that wants to take your job in hockey. Similar, there's a lot of brokers trying to get your clients or get the properties. So there's a lot of competition, which is what I love. Like you said, I'm warrior, a bit different. Like when I go to the gym in the morning and I ran and it's 5:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning and someone runs next to me, I got to run faster. It's just the way I'm wired, right? So for real estate and then to be number one, it's why I wake up every morning. And it's just the drive and trying to find a way to make your business better and find the right coaches. So it's very similar. It's all about being your best and do the best of your ability with what you find and what you have. So it's very similar in that way.
Well, you brought it up, and we rarely ask guests this question, but because you're a professional athlete and because you had coaches, and then in your real estate side, you're a client of the Massimo Group, and you obviously have coaches. What's the thread? What's the common thread of coaching? A lot of business coaches use the analogy, you know, Tiger Woods as a coach, and I get that. But obviously, you're a great person to ask. What's the common thread of coaching, how it applied to you in your hockey life and in your professional business life?
You need to trust your coach. I think that's the first step for me. You know, like you said, there's all kinds of coach. But if you don't trust the process and you don't have faith in the process and your coach, then you can have the best coach in the world and it's just not going to happen, in my opinion. So finding the right fit, I love what you do, and finding the right fit and have a coach that has the same passion, I think that's very important.
Yep. Your coach is Brad, correct?
Correct.
Right. And actually, I coached Brad when he was in the brokerage before he went to syndication. He did so well that we actually wrote about him in my first book. So Brad and you have similarities in regards to what you're pursuing, what you're building on your own portfolios. And that helps a great deal, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brad is awesome. I feel like when I have an obstacle, like he already has the answer, and either because he's been through it or because he has a great mind for the business, it's really almost like a mentor telling me, okay, well, Joe, you should think about this, but on your other side of this business, this is what I would do. And every time he's right on. So it's been a fantastic experience so far with Brad. Absolutely.
Great. I love to hear that, but it's not about the Massimo Group. It's about you. And I was actually listening to an earlier podcast with best-selling author Bob Berg, sold 1 million copies of his book, The Go-Giver, which is an amazing book. He lays out how everyone says that pros, and you're a pro, you're a professional hockey night, professional business person, professional real estate expert. They never stop learning. So beyond getting coached, how else do you continue to learn and educate yourself in your craft?
So I try to read a book a week, either listening to a book when I'm on the plane or listening when I'm driving or reading it at night. A lot of different books, either from self-help to motivation to biography to other authors that were brokers and now they own this amazing portfolio and the obstacle. Like I like to read stuff like that. Or again, like right now I'm reading a book, You Can't Stop Me, which is awesome because the experience that he goes through and the mental toughness that he has is just inspirational for me. So I do a lot of that. I also take different courses. Like right now I'm taking a PNL courses or LNP, which is for communications. And I also take synergology, which is like body language classes. So I can feel or know when you look at a deal if you really like it or you don't. And I'm trying to find the different ways to get my game to another level.
That's incredible, Joe. There's a constant learner. Folks, if you're listening to this, regardless of what you do, that innate desire to constantly learn and grow and recognize you need to increase your value or you'll be left behind. So I love it. So Joe, help the audience understand exactly what is your business. Let's focus on what is your business. And first we'll focus on the brokerage side. What do you focus on? What folks do you serve? What services do you offer?
So on the brokerage side, specialize in small cap or private cap, you would say. That's what I specialize in. Development site and multi-residential are my prime assets. But I have a full team offering from leasing to industrial. So we have every services that we can offer that's possible for every different assets. What we're trying to create, basically, it's a one-stop shop. So you come to me, you're looking for an office building, we'll find one for you. You want somebody to rent it, we'll have someone to rent it. You need financing, we'll find you financing. You need capital, we'll find you capital. It's just really to make sure that the transaction can go through, basically.
Okay. Obviously, it's a commission-only business. Do you leverage that with other businesses? What other businesses do you have, if any?
My other businesses is right now we're starting a fund where we use the equivalent of your 401k in the States. So we can use your 401k without you getting taxes on it. Put in this fund, use a real estate vehicle, and guarantee you a 7% return. 7-8%, whichever assets we're going after on a 5-year term. So after 5 years, you have the choice to stay in and go to the next phase, or you can get your money and get buy it out. So that's one of the services we offer as well.
And you also invest, besides the fund, you have that apartment when you're 19. Do you still own that apartment?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I own close to, I would say, 300 units now, which I'm trying to grow a little bit more, but the market is being so hot that I don't like to buy assets based on pure cap rate. I need upside in the assets. So it's not my turn yet to buy. I'll wait till the market will go down and I can get some assets with upsides. But yeah, I have also that on my side as well.
Yeah, we're waiting for that as well. And on our end here, the market soften a little bit. When you're not in business, and take away hockey for a minute, what do you do for fun?
I enjoy running. I clear my head, jogging outside. That's one of the things I like to just to set my head right. And I enjoy spending time with my family at the lake house and being there at least one day a week where I'm 100% there, where I don't take calls, and to just really spend time with my boy and my wife. So that's what I like to do. Final
crazy question. What's the craziest thing you've ever done that you can actually share? The craziest thing you've ever done that you can actually share. What do you think that would be?
In business, I purchased a $7 million land, went hard with no conditions right away. And I didn't have the money at the time. I was maybe 23. And I knew that the guy next door wanted that land. So I sold it to him for a good amount of money. But it was nerve-wracking because if he had to find out that I didn't have the money and I was hard, the deposit was not refundable, I would have been in a tough situation. But I managed to put it through.
Yes, you did. That was crazy. Okay, here it goes. 5 success factors in 5 minutes. I'm going to stop you cold at 5 minutes. We're going to get this in. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, question number 1, go. How do you prospect?
So cold calling, we are asking our clients to refer us. We are also going to events and offering free evaluation of their assets. So get in there.
Do you have a personal number of calls you attempt to make any given day or week?
Yes, I do, but I also hired a company to make calls for me as well.
Fantastic.
So
And so how many calls do you or the company make?
the company makes calls from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. So they make a ton of calls.
Now talking about your marketing, how do you market? Every aspect, physical, social, how do you do it?
So we hired a team that does all our website, social medias, and all this stuff. They are producing blogs for us as well through our CRMs. All our clients are getting our blogs, the marketings, the stories, the market beats. We make sure that our clients hears from us at least once a week because we are trying to get referrals from them, right? So we want to be fresh in minds every time. So we do a lot of that. And obviously flyers, we're targeting, areas that we sold buildings and we send them to owners that have similar assets and try to get involved like this.
Okay, next. You say we all the time. So your team.
Yeah.
Tell us about your team. First, you have your internal team, and also you have a scalable team that you're hiring out, the callers and the marketers. Your team itself, how many folks, what roles, responsibilities? Go.
So my team is built a little bit like a law firm where we have our juniors on salary base. We have 2 juniors on salary base, and they get bonuses if we get a mandate and we sell it. Then you have my generals where they would get our mandates and produce only on these mandates. They don't go get business. And then we have 2 of those. And then you have me now that's on top controlling the whole pie, if you want, that go get business. My job is to go get business and to close it. I'm expecting one of my general to want to move eventually to a lawyer firm to want to be part of the bigger pie. I always tell them, I was like, put the knife under my throat. I want you to come to me and say, hey, I made you this much amount of money. I want to be part of the pie now. So that's the motivation for them, right? So basically we are 5, and then we have our assistant that's the glue about all the services that we're offering, from marketing to brokers to everybody. So we're a solid 6 in-house.
Perfect. Love it. Next question, number 4, platforms, software, tools, technology. What do you all integrate and use?
Obviously, I have my own website now. We're using Client Look as a CRM, right? We are also using MyDesk for the calls. They're the service that they find our callers for us. I think that's pretty much in terms of technology. We're looking to find different technologies to upgrade our game, but it needs to be the right one because we find that we tried a different technology and we were just wasting time. So good mix between saving time and being efficient.
Last question, productivity. What time you get up? Take me through your day. What time you go to bed?
So I get up at 4. I'm at the gym at 4:30, 4:45. I'll train for an hour and a half. Come back home to have breakfast because I want to have breakfast with my family. So I'll have breakfast with my family, and I already at that point I'm already taking calls, and I have clients that are early birds as well. So my first call is probably around 5:30 with one of my clients that we speak pretty much every other day. I think it's because he's bored at that time, but if not, I'll have breakfast. I show up to the office around 8. Then I start my day. At 8 o'clock, I write my daily schedule. I go through my Massimo schedule as well for the week. Usually I have lunch with client and I'll have a dinner with a client. And I finish my day probably I get home around 9:30 at night or so, 9:30, 10 o'clock.
What time you go to bed?
I go to bed around 11:30. 11:30, I'm up around 4. I do that till Friday. And on Friday, my wife comes pick me up at 6, have dinner with her and my son. Saturday is my day off where I don't take calls. Sunday morning, I have breakfast with them, and then I start over around 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Joe, final question. If there were three, let's give three, no more than three, factors to your success, looking back now in your business, what would they be?
I would say discipline. I would say you have to have love for what you do, right? And structure. Because in our business, time is limited. You can only have 24 hours, and you don't want to waste time on stuff that doesn't bring money. And that's one of the things that Massimo, that I learned how to really focus on stuff you do money.
Well, that's awesome. Discipline, passion, and structure, those all go into play of the key factors what makes Joe. Amazing success. And though I didn't say this earlier, Joe, you are one of the top producing brokers in the world. And that is actually a fact. You're one of the top producing brokers in the world. And now, folks, you know why. So regardless of what you do in your practice, whatever you're doing, follow some of the principles that Joe shared with you, and you too can start to grow your business. So, Joe, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today on the Massimo Show.
Super. Thank you so much.
Okay. And folks, don't forget, Joe shared with you a lot of valuable content, and now you know. But as I always say, knowing isn't doing. Go out and make it happen. Until next time, this is Rod Santomassimo with The Massimo Show. I want to thank you for listening to this version of The Massimo Show. And please go out and share this with your friends, your colleagues. Heck, share it with your dog. Just share it. And more importantly, just give me some feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. We all grow from understanding what our audience wants to hear. So until next time, this is Rod Santomassimo with The Massimo Show. Hi, this is Rod Santomassimo, president and founder of the Massimo Group. And did you know that for over the past 11 plus years, we've worked with thousands of independent contractors, solopreneurs, and small business owners just like you in repositioning their and/or their team's efforts so they can build the personal, professional practice they've always dreamed of. We provide coaching programs for all levels of experience, earnings, and yes, success. So if you're finally ready to get off that transaction treadmill and chasing deals that are growing nowhere and start building the personal, professional business and life consisting of greater wealth and more time, well, check us out at Massimo.coach. That's Massimo.coach.